So it's about 1 o'clock in the morning in a town close to my house, and I needed to get some water, and I also needed to vacuum my car because I have a big fuzzy dog, and my big fuzzy dog has a lot of, well, fuzz that I had to get rid of. And seeming as I have some time to kill, I'm at this place in a town called Lanigan, and generally it's pretty close to where I am a lot of the time. But one of the things that I wanted to go over, as much as I like various things, this is I gotta tell you, this vacuum cleaner here, normally you put $1 in and it's generally pretty good, right? You go to like a Co-op or a Shell or one of these things, and if they even charge you at all for the vacuum cleaner, logic would dictate that in theory you should be able to get more power of some kind, right? So that it's actually worth your while. So I figured, well, you know what, I've got a pretty good vacuum cleaner at home, and I did a pretty good hose job of my my car over there. And I thought, well, you know what, since I had to go and get some water anyway, and since I was working late, I thought that it would make perfect sense to basically, use this vacuum cleaner. And I figured for $1, in theory, I should be able to get a lot more power for the vacuum cleaner that I have. Now, the problem is that when I ended up putting $1 in it, I got absolutely no power whatsoever from this giant hose here. You would think that for $1 that I would get a lot more power than I was getting for the $1 that I put in. I mean, this has got to be the most anemic paid vacuum cleaner. I mean, my dad had one of those old vacuum cleaners, a Hoover, that didn't work very well from the 1970s, and I got more power out of that than this. I had a consumer grade Dyson that was not meant for basically putting in a car at all. It wasn't meant for I didn't even use a shop vac, for crying out loud, but I put $1 in and it didn't do anything. What am I supposed to do? Complain that I put in $1 and that I didn't get my money's worth because it sucks? I mean, it's kind of a bad joke in and of itself, but I mean, I get that some of these small town sort of vacuum cleaners are supposed to be of some degree of quality, but it really is not, in my view. If you're going to put $1 in theory, you should get $1 worth of the money that you put in. I mean, I'm on the road a lot, and so, I'm not going to bitch I'm not going to bitch and complain about $1. I'm bitching and complaining about $1 right now. But the thing is I mean, if I'm putting $1 in, I'm just going to give you another close-up of this machine simply because I have the time that is available to kill. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Big compressor here. Supposedly we have all this power, and a big giant hose here. I mean, hell, I spent enough time in Montreal. Anybody that will tell you, in theory, and a lot of things in the world, apparently it's the size that matters. We have a nice big hose here. A nice large hose seems to be a prerequisite in life for a number of things, but in theory, it doesn't really do any good if you don't know how to use it. And the problem is that $1 doesn't work very well. I'm not really sure what to do about that. Now, if it were $2 or $3 or $4 or $5 or whatever, then I might be inclined to get my money back. It does technically suck. It sucks both in the way, to some degree, that it's intended to, and more so in the way that it doesn't. And it's not like it didn't do anything. It just, in my view, it didn't really have any power to it. And I don't really understand how you can have something this size and it doesn't actually work all that well. At the very least, I should be able to get more power out of this than I would get out of my consumer vacuum Dyson at home. And that's a lot less powerful than a shop vac, for example, which I no longer have. I sold it. I wish I kept it. And I mean, look at me. I look tired and cranky, and I look, even though I'm a television producer, I've got, DEET and deep woods all over my face and sunscreen, and I look like I'm about to rob a 7-Eleven, even though, I'm not. and in my line of work, that probably wouldn't do me very well. So in the meantime, since I have time to kill, I'm simply going to complain about this pathetic, anemic vacuum cleaner that sucks to some degree in the way that it's supposed to, but more so in the way it doesn't. And as such, that is my rant of the day. I'm going to do some more live streams because I've been meaning to do it, and I was looking at the YouTube analytics, and apparently I haven't done a live stream in 18 days. It's been actually pretty busy, but I am going to do another one. And on the topic of complaining about vehicles and complaining about automotive related stuff, one of the things that I noticed is that although the Kia Sorento is an extremely popular vehicle, apparently there are a lot of people looking about how to take the seats out of a vehicle of the Kia Sorento. Now I have a 2013 Kia Sorento here. I think I have the key in the front there, but if you look at the Kia Sorento, my Kia, you can see that I've managed to successfully take the seat out. And guess what? It's actually not that hard. So I'm actually going to do a video on how I took the seat out of this so I can have cargo. So I have a bunch of my training equipment here, and I have everything else, and it works pretty well. So this is sort of how I have everything kind of set up. So I'm going to do a video on that. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to close the trunk of my car, and that is what I'm going to do tomorrow, and then I will get back to the live streams. So in the meantime, if you have not subscribed to my channel and you have not yet been scared away from this nonsense, please do, if for no other reason than it provides me more incentive to create content, including waste of time stuff like this, and that would include waste of time objects and alleged services like this vacuum cleaner that literally sucks, but not in the way that it should, just in the way that it doesn't. What are we doing with our lives?